Well, it's just gone 9 o'clock Central African time. This is BTV News. You're broadcasting live from the nation's capital, Gaborone. I'm Mulibile Samoka. Let's take a look at stories making headlines. Government commits to build an inclusive economy. LGBTQI community mobilizes resources to mitigate impact of abrupt U.S. funding freeze. Markets drop after President Donald Trump imposed a far-reaching reciprocal tariff policy. Liza Oseking will join us later on a sport desk. Patricia Shomonyani is interpreting in sign language. Welcome and thank you for joining us. Now, in the first story, government is committed to building a deep and highly inclusive economy, which will promote the active participation of locals and ensure economic diversification. Addressing a Khotla meeting in Khanzi this morning, the acting president, Mr. Ndaba cited the need to look into improving the state of government-owned enterprises, parastatals and entities, and noted that plans are underway to vigorously and intentionally improve the state of Botswana Mid-Commission. Utililong Kabetse reports.
Following a series of Khota meetings in Takatokwani, Letakeng, Chwaneng and Kanye, addressed by the President Advocate Duma Boko this week, the acting President, Mr. Ndaba has also engaged in a series of Khota meetings with his first stop in Khanzi. With the promise of a better Botswana in the works, Khanzi, which is home to a population of over 19,000, can also hope for an improved local economy through efforts underway by government to ensure their active participation in the beef industry.
Ibile re somolotse lenaneo la gore lekgotla le la BMC le ba ka nngwe hela mo go bonalang le ba ka nngwe ka mashedi mme ebile ke sone se re dumalane re le lehatshe la Botswana ha re reditse barui gore re ska ra ikaya hela ka BMC ya le nosi ha ile gore go na le bangwe gape ba ba kgonang go aga makhota a tshwanang le BMC a re age gore re ska ra ba mo lekgotleng le lengwe hela.
Grateful for various ongoing transport and water infrastructural developments in their village, local authorities also hoped that due attention would be given to developing school infrastructure.
Construction of roads, stormwater drainage system, traffic signals, road markings,
Rasolo had your primary school, Komiriti, Eversolo had your secondary school, young Wahape.
Res Seretaka took 2.5 million. Hodira a feasibility study for primary Yahuna Hakai.
Government took to addressing residents' concerns on issues such as the cost of electricity and various village development issues.
Ke dumela gore ke mohago o re tshwanetseng gore re o tse ka tlhwaga.
Dipoloto tse ke di wantse tsothetse ke tsone tse leng gore ha utlwa go tse dipotata gantsi go lumile ko ke tsone ha utlwa go tse di vegetable go gantsi go lumile mo dipolotong nyana tsonetse me ano ka jana botshelo le motakase ga re kgone go lema re ijesa mo dipolotong tse ntate ya motakase wa tura
Kanye ilibilo e setse ilibilo ke a itse ka gore e gorogile mo tafoleng yana e gorogile mme ebile ka lesego la modimo go na le maranyane a masha one maranyane one a sona a leng gore go a seka-sekwa gore mahelo a leng mapotlana a leng ka tlase a leng kgakajana ha metse le ditoropo go ka dirwa jang gore a go kegelwe ka motlakase yo makgwa ebile ba o bitsang ba re off grid ke gore motlakase o direlwa teng.
Rural-urban development remains a critical aspect of the new administration's quest for an inclusive and sustainable economy.
Water Utilities Corporation has launched a multi-million pula project to overhaul Silibepikwe aging water and sanitation systems. This comes after years of strain on the systems built in the 1970s, which have struggled to meet modern demands. The Faith G Holdings company has been awarded the contract to overhaul the town's water infrastructure and will operate on site for 15 months to execute critical upgrades. Mamusi Siska with more.
For years, Silibepikwe has grappled with a persistent stench and sewage overflows caused by its outdated water infrastructure, disrupting residents' daily lives and posing serious health risks. The aging system, which has been in place since the 1970s, has struggled for decades to meet growing demands. Frequently, overflows during peak usage affecting homes and businesses are expected to be addressed, marking a transformative step towards restoring community well-being and environmental safety.
Right now, it is experiencing a lot of problems, right from the sewer pipelines, the pump stations that are not okay. As we said, we are refurbishing them. And also the treatment ponds themselves. They need to be dislodged. We need to build the new inlet system, which will increase the efficiency of the system to treat the wastewater.
Work has allocated 40 million pula to rehabilitate outdated ponds, water tanks and sewage systems that have plagued this community for years.
We are going to buy materials locally, the pipes, the pumps, the electrical panels, the telemetry devices, all that will be procured locally. We have a list of suppliers that are local that we have shared with work, and work we have approved because they've already done quality check with these suppliers.
Go na le dilo tse le re tota ga di tsamaelane le gore di ka tsenngwa mo metsing for easy flow ka gore metsi a ha tsamaya le leswe yana tshwantse go tsamaisa lone leswe leo ka level e leng gore e beilwe mme ga re tsenya dilo mo teng e nna mathata the same bone ba boa gape ba re nya go a pallwa yaanong ko gone hela gore re ba rutwetse gore ba ga rena ga re tsheleng botshelo jo re itse gore re ta nna ka moso.
Authorities say the project will also create temporary jobs for locals, offering a much-needed economic boost. Once complete, residents can expect fewer water interruptions, clear waterways and sewage system fit for the 21st century. Mamusi Siska, BTV News, Silibepikwe.
The creative industry is said to be critical to the country's efforts to fighting the escalating cases of gender-based violence in Botswana. Speaking during the handover of the African Tale Media Kokonso documentary handed over to the Department of Broadcasting Services, the Permanent Secretary to the Ministry of Gender and Youth said it is time for the country to embrace such creative and diverse ways to fight GBV. The handover ceremony took place yesterday in Gaborone. Keletlele Sosomolakai compiled this one.
The 13-episode documentary series produced locally by youth filmmakers has been in the pipeline for the last 7 years, and now through the 1 million pula financial assistance by FNBB Foundation, it has finally been brought to life to now air on national television. The docuseries feature real-life stories to unmask dark truths of GBV in order to spark conversations which motivates action to different dynamics of gender-based violence.
We need to continue to find innovative and creative ways of ending GBV as a nation. Today we witness the activation of Kokonso GBV docuseries, which is a testament that indeed GBV is everybody's business. Our creative sector plays a key role in shaping society's norms and bringing to the surface that which may remain hidden behind statistics.
This documentary will start airing on Sunday on BTV, so the whole country will see it. And hopefully Botswana will start to find things out about their country, uncomfortable truths about their country, like we are a rape country, right? It is a harsh thing to say and we don't like to hear it, but we have more rape incidents per capita than any other country in the world. That is shameful.
Stakeholders acknowledge the need for everyone to play a role in order to conquer the GBV scourge.
Gender-based violence shatters lives, families, and communities. It thrives in silence. in cultural norms, or rather I should say new emerging cultural norms that excuse abuse, and in systems that fail to protect survivors. But today, as we stand together, we are sending a clear message that says enough is enough. As a nation, we need to reflect on where we are missing the mark. As a nation, we need to go back to the drawing board and lay new foundations about family, about relationships.
And BTV stand ready to work with young, talented Botswana, local producers to ensure that these critical stories like this one are told.
The Kokonso docu-series will play for 13 weeks on BTV starting this coming Sunday. Kelekelezwe Somulekai, BTV News, Gaborone.
Government has transferred and promoted some senior government officials. A press statement from the Office of the President says Mr. Tuso Ramudimosi has been appointed on promotion to the position of Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of International Relations, while Mr. Bingotlo Toteng has been appointed to the position of Legal Advisor, Presidential Affairs in the Office of the President. Ms. Moninyana Rantsudu has been appointed to the position of Executive Advisor at DPSM. Mr. Joyce Sankoloba has been appointed on promotion to the position of Director Nursing and Midwifery Services in the Ministry of Health. Mr. Ronald Masole has been transferred from Letlaken District to Gaborone District as Deputy District Commissioner, while Mr. Musipidi Mokholele has been transferred from Gaborone District to Mabutsane District as the Deputy District Commissioner. Mr. Benjamin Lisitaukana has been transferred from Mabutsane District to Letlaken District as the Deputy District Commissioner, with Ms. Veronica Mochotli being transferred from Child Welfare and Basic Education Ministry to Gauteng District as the Regional Operations Director. Mr. Joseph Banyatsang has been transferred from the Tutume District Council to Kanye District Council as the Council Secretary, while Mr. Charles Amos has been transferred from the Ramotswa District Council to Tutume District Council as the Council Secretary. Mr. Lopampule has been transferred from Gaborone City Council to Ramotswa District Council as the Council Secretary. Ms. Didimalang Sebogiso has been transferred from the Ministry of Communications and Innovation to that of Labour and Home Affairs as Human Resources and Administration Manager, with Ms. Kitumetse Laolam being transferred from the Ministry of Labour and Home Affairs to that of Communications and Innovation as the Human Resources and Administration Manager. Ms. Kitumetse Mpotokwane has been temporarily deployed from the position of Director of Protocol and Consular Services to be Chief of Protocol at the Ministry of International Relations. The press release says the transfers take effect on the assumption of duty. The Minister of Higher Education, Mr. Prince Maile, says prioritizing TVET is one of the crucial ways to help alleviate unemployment in Botswana. Mr. Maile was speaking AAT graduation in Gaborone on Thursday.
AAT is a vocational and technical training that strengthens employment opportunities of young people here in Botswana and provides skills that the business in Botswana need. Ladies and gentlemen, TVET has become a critical education sector that my government is prioritizing as one of the critical areas to focus on to alleviate unemployment, which remains significant concern for the country.
The ambition is to create practical routes to employment by providing valuable experience and skills to open career pathways. Our involvement with local employers, including Forvis Mazars and Grant Thornton, is part of our ongoing commitment to the region.
You're still watching BTV News. Thank you for staying with us. Now moving on. The Chief Executive Officer of LGBTQI, Nusizwe Ntesang, says the basis of the Still We Stand Resilient campaign is to testify that the organization continues to mobilize and stand tall even after the abrupt funding freeze from the U.S. government. Hobana Onesehedi with more.
Since the USA froze a number of funding under the US aid, a number of NGOs were left in the dark, with some closing offices immediately as they couldn't fund their campaigns. LGBTI, which had been benefiting on the US fund, had decided to shoulder on despite the challenges to service its clientele. It appreciates the government's efforts throughout the years, as this has helped them combat hate crime.
It's been really instrumental to development work. I mean, I think the government does incredible work, but they can't do it by themselves. And so I think not just US funding, but foreign funding has been instrumental to augmenting and filling those gaps where the government is not able to. So now the consequence of that means government becomes now overly burdened because they need to take up this cost and take up and fill that gap, right? So it has far-reaching impacts. And I think people have a misconception about what the money was about. It wasn't just about gender or sexuality, it was also about climate change, it was also about diversity and inclusion. So even disability rights are being impacted, being a woman, being a queer person. All those intersections have been essentially erased by this funding freeze, and so it really impacts everybody, whether they know it or not.
With reduced services as a result of funding, LGBTI says they will continue to move forward to push back and fight for their rights.
But we are aggressively fundraising, but I also think it's given us a chance to sort of think about economic diversification. Even as an organization, we're currently trying to modify our funding model to explore more societal models. Like we want to get into entrepreneurship, for example. We want to encourage our beneficiaries to just diversify. And also, I think this has also showed us that we can't rely on one pot for funding. So even for us, we're looking within to say how can we generate income for ourselves as an organization without commercializing ourselves, because you can't commercialize human rights.
The advocacy group says they will remain committed to helping the marginalized members of the society despite financial constraints. Khobananese Hedi, Botswana Television, Gaborone.
Standard Chartered Bank Chief Economist Razia Khan says the 37% tariffs imposed on Botswana goods by the United States of America as a reciprocal to the 74% imposed on US goods by Botswana will negatively affect Botswana's economy, hence an urgent need to private sector collaboration with government in the economic diversification drive to curb the harsh effects of the global uncertainties. Khan highlighted this at an economy dialogue conference organized by Standard Chartered Bank on Thursday in Gaborone. Wabisi Mpulubusi with more.
On Wednesday, the USA government announced new sweeping tariffs on goods from 60 countries, including Botswana. A 30% tariff was imposed on goods imported from Botswana, an increase from a baseline of 10%. This is because the USA says Botswana has been charging its goods 74%, which is high compared to others in the region, with the exception of Lesotho at 99%. As a result, economists say Botswana should buckle up as the tariffs threaten the sale of diamond to the USA.
If we were to reflect on Botswana's economic history, yes, there had been a great deal of past success, but a great deal of conservatism underscoring that, which may have impeded the diversification of the economy. Now there is a government in place that fully recognizes the necessity of accelerating that diversification process. It's no longer going to be possible for government to do everything on its own. There will have to be private sector participation.
A clear-on call was made for policymakers, both the private sector and government, to come up with long-term solutions towards this new global shift on trade.
One of the things that we also spoke about is just how we are going to be structuring for effective investment promotion. And I think the current, and I think it's a realization from us that the current environment actually to an extent does frustrate investors because they come into the country and there's no clarity in terms of who is the leader. You know, sometimes they go to BITC, sometimes they go to Ministry of Finance, sometimes they go to Office of the President. So I think that lack of a lean structure is also causing problems.
As a result of the increase in tariffs, countries have been recently reported scrambling to seek audience with the USA to adjust their tariffs in an effort to keep their economies afloat. Meanwhile, Botswana await for a response from their government on how they will tackle up this issue, which is likely to affect the sale of the country's diamond. Wa Betsui Mpulubusi, PTV News, Gaborone.
The acting leader of the Botswana Congress Party and acting leader of opposition in Parliament, Mr. Taulo Lucas, says that since the beginning of the 13th Parliament, BCP has maintained its position to hold the umbrella for democratic change-led government to the same level of scrutiny as previous governments. Mr. Lucas highlighted that in the run-up to the close of Parliament for its 2-month break, BCP members of Parliament have proven to be up to that task, demonstrating a passion to fight for their constituents and to hold government accountable. The BCP says all the efforts are in line with BCP's main goal of being a viable alternative government.
Participate actively in the committees of Parliament. The committees of Parliament are an extension of Parliament. The committees on say, mirrors that you have really Kailor, Neratsa Carolo committee in Seu, Bangavaro Navata, Moditopo, Zadi committee Seu, or any Badulati Tilo. Or any Badulati Tilo Badi committee Seu. But last Tulo committee of Parliament, take we Carabalo Tona, me, Hone, say what I was it to Melagor Bangarona, and I have about saying Modi committees of Parliament, say you talk. Yours truly here, you presenter. Came with last kilo were Public Accounts Committee. When the parliamentary committees says on every state and go to Tota, even Rito Dirisa to Neseo, Otomamisa or Todimela Tot, Ronarele, Botswana Congress Party. Renarati to Lavania shadow cabinet. Shadow cabinet. Kuraha Wanaba to Ba, my parliamentary, Molema Wano Hire, a ministry. Ngaska well because by 15 go kunzi ni ga habere kila raheta kayo yani yona shad cabinet yone ki one long gore bona ba itelt pele ba di shad cabinet 27 ki bona ba lead and discussions mo di khante di ama di portfolio tsone tsa shad cabinet tse.
Now, in stories making headlines beyond our borders, we go to DRC. The Democratic Republic of Congo has imposed a $50 visa requirement for Zimbabwean citizens, ending the previous visa-free travel arrangements between the two nations. Zimbabwe was among the few countries whose citizens could enter the DRC without a visa. The reasons behind the policy shift remain unconfirmed. The change is expected to affect business travelers, tourists and cross-border traders who frequently travel between the two countries. Zimbabwe and the DRC have maintained close diplomatic and economic ties, with Zimbabwean businesses having interest in sectors like mining and agriculture in the DRC. The Zimbabwean government has not responded to the issue, and travelers are advised to consult relevant authorities before planning their trips. Now, markets dropped the day after President Donald Trump imposed a far-reaching reciprocal tariff policy, including a 10% baseline tariff on almost every country. The plan slaps much steeper tariff rates on many countries, including 34% on China, 20% on the European Union, 46% on Vietnam, and 32% on Taiwan. Economists and U.S. trade partners are raising questions about how the White House calculated the tariff rates it claimed other countries charge. The U.S. experts continue to debate the full potential effects. Now, U.S. tariffs on auto imports also took effect overnight, prompting Stellantis to pause production at its plant in Canada and Mexico. Trump now says he's open to negotiations, contradicting White House aides who insist the sweeping tariffs are not bargaining tactic. European stocks closed the day 2.7% lower. It is time for Sport News. Let's also get on standby.
Thank you, Olibile. Good evening. I am Liza Osekem with your World of Sport.
In our leading story, the newly elected Botswana Rugby Union President Farid Pando says as a way of improving and developing the sport locally, they have unanimously agreed with their member affiliates to review the Constitution of 2016 in order to align it to the current and contemporary needs. Kagiso Molelekwa has the report for us.
Pando said they took decisions to amend and improve the association's constitution so that it is in line with those of the World Rugby governing body and other stakeholders.
We affiliate to 4 key stakeholders.
Our constitution dates back from 2016 and it was important to review it as the game keeps on improving.
National Olympic Committee. Now, Haridira Constitution mostly because subvention e kana madi ona ra ilong gore re tshegile ka one ra tsa ko makalaneng one and therefore ba ne ba re hile se itlamo sa gore sepe se re se dira re be re le aligned to ka ha ba tsamaisang ka teng.
As part of the developments to align with the statutes of the World Rugby governing body, the new committee promised to work on increasing equal gender participation in the sport. We have agreed with our members on 5 points, among them to increase the role of women in sport. The World Rugby Federation strongly encourages us as federations to ensure that the role of women is visible.
Increased women participation. So you can see they are relative to each other. They are very similar. How level the general increased participation kore go iponatsa image ya rona hala mo setšhabeng e teng ko World Rugby e teng mo go rona, so e ne le gona hala gore lebelle those pillars.
Moreover, Botswana Rugby Union Committee also rolled out programs which will take the sport to greater heights.
Strategic plan is one statute se le sone ke reng se bapile thata le pelwane ne re lebile World Rugby gore di goal tsa bone tsa reng tsa rona tsa re mme bile re ntse re le ho re gakologelwa gape gore our strategic plan ne se hela ka 2021 and go ra gore go nnile le gap re sena sone se leng gore sa re tsamaisa rona kana as the executive we are just implementers tsa constitution le strategic plan and therefore ha re sena strategic plan ga gona sone se leng gore re ka be re se dira mo officing.
Other committee members are Vice President Technical Elijah Kokoro, Secretary Osikopano, Traja Tobeza Gobona, Women's Representative Kinuli Mudise. The position of Vice President Administration remains vacant as it was not contested. The AGM also managed to fill 3 of the 4 additional members' positions with Simon Kanaimba, Thariso Robje, and Dave Gilbert. Kariso Morelekwa, PTV Sport, Gaborone.
Switching course to football news, Gaborone United assistant coach Vincent Khaswane says they are ready and determined to secure a victory over Orapa United as the two meet in an FNB Premiership League game scheduled for Itiken Stadium on Saturday. Tsepoy Kihimile has more.
GU are currently third on the log standings with 42 points from 12 wins, 4 losses and 6 draws. Coach Khaswane emphasized their commitment to fighting for maximum points to keep alive their title aspirations.
When we prepare, we know we are playing games home and away. So we prepare, we are going to away from home. Good supporters are Orapa dealing thing and where Orapa may be strong. But we are confident that we have prepared well and we are ready for the game. Obviously scoring, because it's something that but I think I've seen a lot of improvement on the boys and they are doing really well, more training in terms of converting the chances that we create, because in every game we create more than 10 chances, but you find that Homoragora 1 or 2, but we've been working more on that.
In contrast, Orapa United occupies the 8th spot and have managed 7 wins, 6 losses and 9 draws. Head coach Mohamed Zimpote says though he acknowledges his relatively recent appointment and that is still in the building process, he aims to challenge GU effectively in this fixture.
Today and this week is to know that we are playing a good team and a very good, a big team, a very good side, and only the quality. So we are ready to tackle them. Home advantage is always advantage because that is where you are training, and we'll use it, of course, yes, as an advantage. And going forward, we have so many young boys by Longoring. We want to use them. So many young boys by Longoring. They are new in this elite league, but look, we are just happy because the adaptation part of it is going well.
In other Premier League fixtures on Saturday, Traffic will face Chadib FC at Obeditane Chilweme Stadium, while struggling BDF 11 takes on bottom place Flamingo Santos at Royal Area Stadium. Extension Galas play host to Matebele FC at Lubata Sports Complex, while Nico United welcome Township Rollers at Samson Stadium. Finally, Murupul Wanderers will welcome the defending champions Jwaneng Galaxy at Palape Stadium. Tshepo Himile, PTV Sport, Gaborone.
And finally, Betway Botswana, a new powerhouse in the country's betting industry, says they have done everything necessary to ensure that all participants bet with purpose and that those involved in betting locally can benefit through proper and responsible betting. The Betway country manager, Michelle France Mabileza, further revealed that they have also partnered with Botswana National Sports Commission to expand their services locally.
Beyond BNSC, all the sporting bodies, soccer, athletics, so that
we have started engaging more sporting bodies, including BNSC, as a way of identifying where we can assist and where to start. The people we engage with are over the age of 21 in and out of sports. Responsible betting is close to our hearts, and we ensure that players also take part in disseminating information on responsible betting at their teams, as betting is a leisure activity.
Team ya lona Botswana la e rata mme ha re beta a re beten responsibly re ska tlogara itlhela ile go ya re tsere madi otlhe kwa lapeng re ile go beta tota go beta ke sa go injisa monate ha o ntse o lebeletse game ya gago le monate o enjoya o tshwantse re bo beta mo go lekanetseng hela gore o kgone go ithuthuntsa o ine seng o ire yalo.
Well, that is it for sport this evening. Olibile is standing by to give us a reminder of our top stories.
Government commits to build an inclusive economy. LGBTQI community mobilizes resources to mitigate impact of abrupt U.S. funding freeze. Markets drop after President Donald Trump imposed a far-reaching reciprocal tariff policy. Well, that is all the news we had for you this Friday. Weather's up next. Stay with us.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's weather forecast. I'm Pearl Victoria Josiame. Let's start off by looking at rainfall amounts recorded this morning at 8 a.m. We have 80 millimeters at Malaysia Primary School, 62 at Kisi Primary School, 50 at Makopong Primary School and Zabo Meteorological Station, 44 at Nhake Primary School, 40 at Magunda Primary School, 20 at Valhoek Primary School, 18 at McCarthy's Rest Border Post. 16 millimeters at Ngai Primary School, 11 at Puduhudu Primary School and Gumara Police, 7 at Oliphant Reef Police, 6 at Lepepe and Nojani Meteorological Station, 4 at Good Hope Nadi, 3 at Kakea Primary School in Khanti. 3 millimeters at New Kanahas Primary School and Mogotsene Khotla, 2 at Loanem Primary School, Khanti Meteorological Station, Toteng Primary School, and Otter Crop Production Office. 1 millimeter at Gole Primary School and a few drops at Khale Hill Junior Secondary School. Tonight's satellite images showing mostly cloudy conditions over much of the country, and we expect these to bring us rain into tonight. For tomorrow, we're expecting mostly cloudy conditions countrywide, with partly cloudy conditions over Chobe, northern central, and northeast. we're expecting fairly widespread thunder showers over Khansi and Kgalagadi, scattered over southern southeast Gauteng and Kwening, isolated over Ngamiland and southern central. We're also expecting heavy falls of more than 50 millimeters or more over some areas, with the possibilities of flash flood. In the morning, we're expecting hot temperatures over Ngamiland, Chobe, and northern central between 20 to 21, but for the rest of the country, warm temperatures are expected, ranging between 16 to 18 degrees Celsius. And in the afternoon, we're expecting cold temperatures over southern southeast Gauteng and Kwening between 20 to 22, mild over Khansi and Kgalagadi, and warm temperatures are expected over Ngamiland, central and northeast between 27 to 32, hot over Chobe between 33 to 35. On Sunday as well, we're expecting mostly cloudy conditions, with some partly cloudy conditions over Chobe, northern central and northeast. We're also expecting fairly widespread thunder showers over southern Khansi and Kgalagadi. Scattered thunder showers are expected over northern Khansi, southern southeast Gauteng and Kwening, isolated over Ngamiland and southern central. Temperature-wise, we're expecting cold temperatures over southern southeast Gauteng and Kwening, mild over Khansi and Kgalagadi between 23 to 25 degrees Celsius, and warm over southern central, and hot temperatures are expected over Ngamiland, Chobe and northern central between 33 to 34 degrees Celsius. We're also expecting heavy falls of more than 50 millimeters over some areas. Therefore, the public is advised to take necessary precautions. That's all I have for you tonight. Have yourself a good night.
Coming up in this edition, DRC crisis leaders to convene soon. Namibia seeks stronger cooperation with Russia in energy sector. And Revenue Services Lesotho accomplishes several successes. Greetings and welcome to this edition of Eye on SADC. I am Blanche Goreses. Thank you for tuning in. In our top story, regional leaders of SADC and the East African community are expected to meet soon to deliberate on the role of the appointed facilitators in seeking peace in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo.
The SADC EAC leaders' meetings are part of the ongoing joint regional efforts to enforce a sustainable ceasefire and end hostilities in the Eastern DRC. Responding to questions from the media during this Tuesday's post-cabinet media briefing, Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister Professor Amon Murwira spoke on the next steps since the appointment of the